Today's story was written by Reddit user Javik Shepherd 1942. We had landed upon their world. It was an easy conquest with their level of technology, and we defeated their scattered militaries in mere hours. By all logic, the war was over. Nothing that remained could expel us off planet, and they only had a few scattered platoons of soldiers left. Patrol 2219 was wiped out a week later, cut down in the middle of the street before they even knew what happened. There were literal chunks ripped from their corpses. We had asked one of our collaborators, a former police detective, what had done it. 12-gauge slugs. We asked him what military unit was left. He smiled and said, none. The next day, Patrol 1338 was destroyed in a different part of the city. This time, one of their heads had been removed. It was an honourless act, and it sickened us. We asked the collaborator again what military units were left in the area. Again, he said none. The next day, Patrol 7637 was moving down a street when the missing head landed amidst them, and the officer in charge shot. This time we killed the collaborator, since he had to be feeding our patrol schedules to whatever unit was left. Patrol 6356 was given 3 armoured infantry vehicles to aid their patrol, advancing through the street flanked by apartments. The vehicles in back and in front were destroyed by unguided rockets and automatic projectile weapons cutting down our infantry. The third vehicle was captured by whatever enemy we faced. A local on the street overheard a group of our officers talking about the situation and laughed. When asked, he replied, "You're not fighting the army. You're fighting gangs, cartels, and militia. Good fucking luck." The next 3 months we chased these gangs, cartels, and militias across the entire regions. We never found them, and when we stormed their safe houses, we ran into traps and explosives. We asked for reinforcements. We begged for them. Such incidents were happening across the planet, and our archivist finally finished sorting the database known as the Internet. We realized the gravity of our mistake. We read about battles such as Stalingrad and Berlin. We read about the banzai charges of the Imperial Japanese. We read of the countless last stands made by lone soldiers or by squads of men. We read of the honourless war in Vietnam, in Iraq and Afghanistan. We read how they made rules only to break them if it gave an edge over their enemy. We were that enemy. They did not face us in open field as brave soldiers and honourable heroes. They fought from the shadows as cowards. They hid in crowds of unarmed combatants. When we shot back, we were hated for killing because we could not see our enemy. More turned against us. We underestimated them so greatly and never realised it until the battle they called the Reclamation of Beijing. They had spent months in secret, building crude weapons of scraps and spears of wood and stone. They used cleaning chemicals to make gas and explosives. The only warning we had of an attack was a single loud voice, amplified by crude technology. Even now, those words haunt me. Wei Sengli. It was the start of the end. They realised if one city could be taken back, so could the rest. For the first time in our history, retreat was ordered. We abandoned the planet to the criminals and gangsters who would not fight a soldier's war. We left behind so much that we knew one day they would come after us. No peace treaty was ever signed. We were still at war, but we had years to prepare to fight against their crude and honourless tactics. At least, we thought we did.